What's up guys, Dennis Films here with another tutorial, and today we're going over camera movement. Specifically camera movement for a beginner, someone who's just getting into music videos or visuals in general. I want to show you how music videos, you really need to pay attention to your camera movement. Before we get started, two things I want to say. One, the footage you're going to see is not from an actual music video. It is for this tutorial, and a big shout out to Rusty P and LD Visuals for helping me in making this happen. So the second thing is that camera movement can dictate whether your visual goes good or bad. I promise you this is from personal experience, and this is why I want to teach this to you, because I feel like it's super important. So we're going to start off with two basic types of camera movement. One being handheld and one being gimbal. First things first, handheld. We all have to start somewhere, and some of us start with just a camera and a lens, which is all you really need. But the first thing you want to think of when you're about to shoot a music video is what type of vibe does that is that music video giving you? Is it an aggressive song with a high tempo beat, or is it a slow song with melodic hooks? It just all depends, but with aggressive, chaotic music, I really like to go handheld. And an important thing that I keep in mind when I go handheld or use a gimbal is points of contact. So points of contact meaning my hand is on the lens, my right hand is on the camera, and then my elbows are against, or I guess you could say tucked underneath, to make sure I'm not getting any jitters, especially vertical jitters, which is something that can potentially ruin your footage. And you don't want to shoot all day and then get back to the editing and you're like, oh man, call the artist, yo, we got to reshoot this. No one wants to do that. You want to nail it down first try and get it done. But first things first is point of contact. Second thing is how your feet are planted. An important thing that I keep in mind is I plant my feet and I like to rock forward and backward when I'm shooting handheld. Now, depending on the focal length, the distance I am from the artist, and then the type of vibe I'm trying to go for, I can go for a wide shot that's very close to the artist and get that distorted look and keep up with that fast pace, chaotic rap. That's usually when I implement handheld. I always like to take projects and then use different tools such as sliders, tripods, gimbals, handheld, what have you, jib, crane. I haven't got to use that yet. But as far as like other stuff as to that nature, I like to mix projects with it. So I'm not using the same type of camera movement throughout the whole project. Now in the beginning, that's what I did, and that's where I went wrong. So let's talk about gimbals, because the handheld, I'm just giving you the basics. The same thing I'm doing with the gimbal. With the gimbal, there's two basic moves that I go to for every single time, which is a semicircle and then also a push in, push out. Now with semicircle, I usually use that the most, especially for performances and B-roll, is basically just doing a 180, half a circle, semicircle, and tracking the artist, because I really like that parallax effect. And especially if I can have something in the foreground, the artist, and then the background, it creates for a very dynamic image. A big thing with gimbal work is footwork. Footwork determines how smooth your footage is going to be, not just the gimbal. So you want to make sure you're going heel to toe. So with semicircle, I always walk sideways as you see in the footage, but I'm still moving toe to heel or heel to toe. A very nice transition between the steps. With push in, which is something I use for intros or outros, so let's say a beat snaps or drops, or the track is moving out, I always like to do a nice push in depending on the track. Now whether it's smooth or fast paced depends on how fast I'm going to be traveling in or out. But for an intro, I really like to hit when that beat comes in and it just hits. It just takes some practice. Gimbal work, no matter if it's a fly cam or a Ronin, it's going to take practice. The footwork, the movement, it's just something you're going to have to adapt to, and then you're also going to have to probably tweak settings to make it work in your favor with how you move and what you see fit for that project. But anyways, this is a pretty simple tutorial. I know it's short. I really do hope this helps y'all. So I recommend just going out, shooting, practicing, and then when you show up on that project, just come confident and just kill it. As always, Keep creating and inspiring. Oh, and one more thing. Whoa. And one more thing. Check out the link in the description. My store. I also sell LUTs. I'm also going to be coming out with effects packs very soon. So keep that in mind. And guys, y'all have a great day. Keep inspiring, keep creating, and I will be way more consistent than I have been. Peace.